all of you. It's been so long, so long. This is the What's Up with Onyx Path panel, a panel that has been going on longer than Onyx Path. My name is Dixie Cochran. My pronouns are she, her. I am a writer, editor, developer, all kinds of things, jack of all trades here at Onyx Path. And Rich, who are you, as if people don't know?
Who am I? I've been asking myself that for over 60 years now.
That's what I was thinking.
Rich Thomas, founder and creative director of Onyx Path Publishing.
All right. And Eddy?
I'm Eddy Webb. Pronouns are he, him, and I am the executive producer at Onyx Path Publishing.
Matthew?
My name is Matthew Dawkins, and I am the creative strategist at Onyx Path Publishing, also he, him.
And Travis?
My name's Travis Legge. My pronouns are he, they, and I am the social media manager, I think is the effective title.
Sounds good to me.
And I write and I develop and I do video, and I'm a jack of many trades.
You are, as always, coming to us from the void.
As always, yes.
Almost a Lynchian voice.
It's a beautiful 68 degrees in the void.
If we had a little electronic noise going in the background,
some ethereal whooshing. If you ever watch with the
we're in a Lynchian mood, my friends.
Yeah,
that's what we were talking about before we came onto this path.
Exactly. What is up with Onyx Path is that Eddy spent his morning watching Blue Velvet, and then we had to talk about it. It was very strange.
Right, very important.
But we have something more important going on right now. Well, maybe not.
Media awareness. So what's up with Onyx Path? Well, we're going to tell you what we're up to, right?
What's the anniversary situation, Rich?
It's our 15th year of doing business. 15 years of doing business. It is very exciting. And as I mentioned in the opening ceremonies, we could not have been doing what we do for 15 years without the support of everybody who's watching this right now, and the people who aren't watching this right now who support us as well.
And we're going to maybe watch it later. So if you're watching this later, hello.
Yep. In time. Wow, wow, wow.
As always, throughout the panel, if you have questions for us, please put them in the chat. I will relay them to everybody else. We will get through this together. But we have all kinds of things to talk about today.
Yep.
So,
specifically, not just the 15th year, but this is the 7th year of doing the Onyx Path virtual convention.
Which is wild.
Yeah, as I was saying during the opening ceremonies, it's one of those things that we were forced into because of COVID, but we actually really liked it. I love that I get to do a convention appearance in pajama pants.
Yes.
I like seeing all of you at once, which normally in our meetings we have to, just for
one at a time,
taking care of not having overloading our meeting circuits. We have whoever's talking gets to do the face thing. And so we do see each other a little bit, but it's not as much as this. This is great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome.
Face thing.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the history of doing this panel, Rich? Is what you said?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the history goes hand in hand with Eddy Webb. That's how he and I would enter the meetings, hand in hand.
It's true.
Skipping. with a Starbucks chai latte in each hand,
with the Happy Onyx Path logo on your shirts with big sun.
Exactly.
No, that came afterwards. Yeah,
I know.
But no, we actually started doing What's Up way back in the day. We both worked for the White Wolf CCP group, Melange, whatever you want to call it. That also gets us back to David Lynch's Dune, by the way. And so we would go in and we would talk about this. And when we started Onyx Path, just segued into now it is What's Up with Onyx Path. So 15 years of doing What's Up with Onyx Path panels. And here we are. So What's Up with us is celebrating our 15th anniversary with a massive sale going on over on DriveThru. Up to 80% off of just about everything we have. So there's a sale on pretty much everything of some level of percentage of savings over there.
And that's DriveThru RPG, DriveThru Fiction, and on Roll.
And Roll20. Additionally, What's Up with us is, and we talked about this, and I had a guest in the opening ceremonies. We have got Demi-Plane Nexus for Scion.
Yes.
That is now in early access. And we've been spreading the links for that out all over the place. So if you're interested in checking that out, you can go through the whole character creation process, all that sort of stuff over there. Mm-hmm. It is early access. So they are open to feedback. If you see something in there that didn't work the way you thought it should or something, that you can let them know. You can also let them know if you would like them to do more Demi-Plane Nexi for our other projects like Curseborn or just generally Story Path Ultra, anything like that. So it's all stuff we'd like to do, but they have to prioritize. They got hundreds of game companies who want to have their Nexuses. See, I use both versions. I like Nexi.
Yeah, I genuinely don't know what the correct version is. Is it Nexi or Nexus?
It's Nexi now, baby. Yeah.
Dixie
So
can look it up.
It could be
that is going
Nexies.
I'm pretty sure I know what it is.
like Pixies.
It is either Nexuses or just Nexus, apparently.
Well,
So I was thinking of
takes a little fun out of it.
I was thinking of Vortex and Vertices.
Very
Yeah,
good.
no, it's like feral, one feral, two feral.
So yeah, so that's going on. Obviously, it's been an interesting year since the last time we did one of these, the 6th Onyx Path virtual convention, and the 6th of these panels at the conventions. And during that time period, we had some challenges that I believe we have found our way through. The chaotic seas of chaos that we were thrown into around November of last year, or the year before. Yeah,
Remember
Year
the year
before.
before, actually.
year
Year
before.
before.
Yep. Because all of 2025 was very, very difficult for most game companies. Many game companies went out of business. Far too many, actually, because of the uncertainty over tariffs from printed and manufactured material coming into the United States. It was passed on to the companies who were importing it. So a game company who had their big box set made in China, let's say, was under the threat of up to 150% having to pay to have that whole shipment come in. And that is basically saying, paid for it once with the manufacturer over in China, now pay for it again and half again on that.
Yep.
And that is game company destroying numbers. And so
Yep. And to be fair, I mean, it absolutely did. Like, unrelated to Onyx Path, one of the other things I do on a regular basis is I do videos for the Extra Credits YouTube channel. And a lot of times they'll ask me to talk about various conditions in the industry or various aspects of the industry. And so one of them we talked about recently was what's been going on in 2025. And it was terrifying. A lot of people, I don't think, realize just how many small game companies went under or had to merge to survive. A lot of games were canceled. A lot of companies had to go back and ask for more money or just sucked up the cost, right? And are operating at deficit right now.
Which most small game companies cannot do, especially in the tabletop RPG business, where we
because our margins
exist
are so
on a
thin.
slim margin to begin.
And one other factor that complicates things that I do think maybe sometimes gets overlooked when we're talking about this was just the sheer uncertainty. It wasn't even so much you're going to get 150% tariff. It was we have no idea if we're going to get
Right.
and
Today, it's 150%.
and it's going to and it could very well come down to what does the guy who just started working there 3 weeks think this counts as.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's the thing. There was no actual ability to know just what was going to be charged, and the decisions on whether something was tariffable or not was left to the individual customs or people working on the docks.
Yeah.
That's just a nightmare. If the downside is so bad, it could gut your company. So we played it very carefully. We did not send things to press. Very, very sorry for that for people who are waiting for their Kickstarter or crowdfunded projects. We feel it too. Believe me, we feel it too.
I felt like for every story I saw where somebody was like, we weren't affected at all, it's fine. There was a second person being like, I bought something that cost me $30 and they're trying to charge me $800 for it. And it's like,
Right.
Right.
what do we do? You know?
Right. And one of the biggest challenges also for us is if even we found our way through, because in many of our crowdfunders, we had reached out to other companies to create dice or to create bags or to create hats. They were challenged, and some of them were had to stop doing business. And
Yeah.
so what we're trying to do now that we have negotiated through their 2A printer and we've gotten a few projects back safely, and while there's a little bit of an uptick on what it costs to get to us, I think that's just the way of the world. If everybody's tried to get anything shipped back and forth, the prices have gone up. But now we're starting to be able to grab individual crowdfunded projects and get them over to our printer.
Mhm.
We still have not yet resolved how do we get these things that were part of the crowdfunder manufactured and to our various warehouses. And I say various warehouses for fulfillment because now we have made a lovely relationship with GMS in the UK, and they are fulfilling our crowdfunded projects into the UK and the EU. So that is extremely brought down the cost, which is at this point going directly to our Kickstarter backers because we don't charge until we're ready to ship the shipping costs. So those will all be going down for the UK folks and for the EU folks.
Yeah.
The other nice thing GMS is doing for us, I should get that in there because I don't think I've emphasized this enough, is that they are also going to be functioning in the UK as the same way Studio 2 functions for us, which is to be the place where retailers can order our projects, our various books. And so we hope and we expect that at least in the UK, there will be many, many more venues where you can pick up our stuff in stores.
Yeah.
And we're really excited about that.
And,
Also, like-
oh, go ahead,
ahead,
Stacey.
We're trying to be too nice. I was gonna say, like, it does take it takes a while for any business to make deals and to shop around and find the best partners for things. So it's also part of it, and
Yep. I used to jump on those things in the early days, like the first 5 years of Onyx Path existing. I would jump, yeah, these guys sound great. Let's work with them, and they know their stuff and that, and then boop, they'd be gone. Like what? No,
Yeah.
can't do it. Well, I had one great fulfillment place, and they really were great. Run by two programmers, and they'd done like a couple of crowdfunding, fulfillments for us. And I went to contact them to let them know the next one was coming up, and they went, "Look, we can't do it. We're actually closing up shop." We decided that it's better all the way around if we just go back to programming. We thought it would be a lot of fun to do this because we had all the programs figured out and stuff. But actually, fulfillment's not fun. But
No.
we like to code, and so we're going to work for Microsoft. Oh, okay, cool.
Valid, absolutely valid.
Totally not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Eddie, you were gonna say a minute ago.
Oh, I was just saying, like, since I've come over here, I've got a chance to see
Eddie's in the
GMS
UK.
in action. Yeah, sorry, I'm here in London now. For those who don't know, because I don't sound like I'm from London, but I live in London now, and so I've been to a few shows where GMS are at, and they're fantastic. Like, a lot of them are also part of Nightfall Games, so that's how I started talking to them. But they're just very cool guys. They're excited about a product. In fact, when I ran into them at UK Games Expo last year, like one of the first things they said was like, "Hey, we love Pugmire. We'd love to get Pugmire into stores. How can we help you?" And then that was followed pretty quickly by like, "We're really excited about Curseborn." So like, these are people who know Onyx Path stuff specifically and are excited about it, which is not a requirement for a business partner, but certainly helps.
It sure does. Yeah. So that's going on, and it's basically just us again coming back from some batteredness to start catching up on things. It doesn't mean that the sluice gates are open and books are going to be pouring out constantly. We still have to be careful. The individual who's capable of at will changing the tariff percentages is still there, so can't do anything about it. So we gotta be careful.
And if I can piggyback on that, Rich, a little note about caution. As someone who's a rabid pro-vaxxer, when you're careful and you don't get sick, it's real easy to look like, oh, well, you're being careful over nothing. But when you're not careful, you get sick. So
Mm-hmm.
you know you got to. Sometimes it might look like, well, hey, X person got away with it, or Z thing came through based on luck,
Right.
and good for them. Awesome. None of us are sitting over here being like, how did they get their book through? You know.
We have heard that for 15 years. Oh, but so and so does it this way. Yeah, I understand.
Okay.
That's how it works. If it works for them, cool. You don't know if it does work for them. All you know is that things seem to have worked out. You don't know what it did.
And
as Eddie said, some companies are operating at a deficit now.
Right.
Yeah,
they're
and
literally losing money every day.
And to build on Travis's point, like really the decision came down to, do we want to release our books a year late, or do we want to never ship a book at all because we're no longer a company, right? That was the very real conversation.
Thank you for
we had
being
to have.
succinct about that.
Yeah. I mean, also like
You should write.
I mean, and
Look
to
at that.
be very clear, we've also made sure that we've continued, paying our writers and paying people like the people on this panel. Because
Mhm.
I like eating.
Fan.
And
Obviously,
if
I'm
the choice
a fan.
is like, we have to lose people from the company or print a book, that's a choice we have to make. I know, like, we have talked at length about how thin the margins on TTRPGs are. There are tons of people talking about this stuff out there. And yeah, just because one other company did something doesn't mean that we were able to do it. Or maybe they, as was pointed out in the chat a minute ago, there's a book that came out that had fulfillment by Modifius, who has a much different fulfillment pipeline than we do. Like, we are not them. So we don't do things the way they do. And yeah, Travis, the cautious vax metaphor makes sense to me. Like,
Yeah,
wanted to be careful so we didn't lose
It's
them.
there, but it's painful to hear that we even have that metaphor now. So
I know.
We should have had that metaphor all along, because people should be getting their flu shots every year.
So, beyond that, we are actually really excited and happy about where things are going for this year. We have a lot of really super projects, not the least of which is of course our newest horror game, Curseborn, which we have been broadening the reach and appeal of. Funny, we were just in the making the Curseborn Players Guide panel and the making of panel just before this one, and I mentioned how one of the great things about the Player's Guide and about Curseborn is that even though the campaigns, the crowdfunders are over, we have them up on BackerKit, and we get a basically somebody buying a PDF or backing for a deluxe or traditionally printed version of it for Curseborn and for Player's Guide, and for Curseborn until we released it in PDF, we had multiple people coming on every day. Getting backing it again on BackerKit, and when Curseborn Players Guide started up, that's started to do the same thing. And when I checked on my my emails between panels, before we did the panel, so it wasn't even us talking about it. Before we did the panel, someone backed the Curseborn Players Guide like 5 minutes before we sat down to the panel. It's like,
Nice.
yep. That's a typical day. So we're so thrilled that people are taking it to their hearts and having fun with it and playing it. We're going to continue to put out a lot of really, we hope and we think excellent material for it. We'll talk more about that in the Curseborn panel coming up on Sunday at what time is that on Sunday?
11 a.m. Eastern.
11 a.m. In which we will talk about all these projects, depending on what people want to hear about, including a certain project we like to call Curseborn Covenant.
Yes. Curseborn Covenant. It's going to be our next tier of gameplay, but we won't talk a ton about it here because we have a lot to talk about at the next panel, but it is basically the next core rulebook for Covenant. Or for
Curseborn.
So I still can't talk, even though I can't talk yesterday, I can't talk today. I just can't talk.
Do what you can, Eddie. You're a delight anyway.
Thank you.
Yeah. Also, we have a bunch of new things. Do we want to go around and kind of discuss those with everybody? by
Yeah.
game line, or I don't, or just
Sure.
sort of randomly? Just
We
pull
have
stuff.
our list of prompts. So it seems Earthbane is next.
Okay.
So we'll be talking about what's coming up next for the Earthbane cycle of games, which of course presently includes The World Below, At the Gates, Monster Kingdoms, and the next one is going to be Jade Storm.
Bum, bum, bum.
Is again, we will talk about it in full on the Earthbane cycle panel later today. But it is an Earthbane game that is wholly different to the rest. It will still have that, I guess, well, the Earthbane vibe, the apocalyptic vibe. There is something that has happened or will happen or is happening right now that is causing a crisis. And your characters are a direct response to that. I won't go into too much detail unless, I guess, people bombard us with questions in the comments, in the chat section, Rich. But yeah, very much excited to talk about Jade Storm.
Don't encourage them. They have a panel to go to. They want to hear more information.
But no, the authors on that one are doing an absolutely superb job. It's a project currently in progress. And yeah, looking forward to seeing where that goes.
I personally am fully enjoying being able to be an Earthbane fan because, like, I've only worked on one of the games. I mean, I've edited a bunch of it, but I don't see it until it comes to editing. I've only written on one of them, so they pop up in my inbox, and I'm like, ooh, a whole new thing that I know very little about because we don't discuss the setting at length in our meetings. Like that's between Rich and Matthew. So
unless there's a problem with it or there's something we're trying to work out, then we'll say, hey, talking point, folks. Boop.
Talk it through.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, so like I know very little about it, so I'm excited to see it eventually, and that's always fun. Like I'm a huge World Below fan to the point where I kind of don't want to work on it ever, kind of like how Matthew is with Eclipse Face.
That is where I'm at. Honestly.
Wow, rude.
You're off. He was going to hire you. Now you're out.
Dixie and I were talking about this the other day. That's exactly where I am with Curseborn. I get to sit in the fan seat, and I'm kind of happy that I get to sit in the fan seat.
It's a very different experience ingesting games that way, right?
Yeah,
Contributing.
Well, and I think it's really important because I think that's one of the things that 15 years we've been doing this stuff.
Yep.
And I've been doing it a lot longer than that. With the pale puppy, as they call it. And it is so exciting to be able to sit here and be excited and energized about all these different things we're doing because there's so many new ideas that keep coming. But it's so also very easy to just go, yeah, I've seen it all before, whatever. And so when one of our folks says, "Oh, yeah, I don't know much about this," and when I saw it, it was like really cool. We get that from writers, we get that from Travis has been talking about it. Dickie just brought the same thing up. Having that excitement about what it is that we make and making these worlds and the games work, and still going, "Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, neat." That is actually like one of the best parts about doing this thing, and it is such a rare thing to be able to have with a group of people working together for so long.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I see a question in the chat. May I respond to a Jade Storm question, Rich? Ooh, let me.
It's
You
a foolish question.
I'd have to see one, cut it out, and put it onto a little chat that I'm watching here. I know what the question is.
It's a very silly little question, and the person actually said "foolish question" is foolish. So,
okay, but I mean, I don't think it's going to hurt things, Matthew, if you respond, because actually he can respond seriously to it.
I will respond seriously to it. So without going too deep into the weeds of the setting, the former godlings of the world in Jade Storm ward with each other as godlings are like to do. They're known as the Malefic. They are not nice individuals. As happens, and we have seen happen in games like Scarred Lands, when divinities clash, things tend to explode. In this case, they did. And into jade storms. They exploded into these storms of jade, ash, and gems scattered around the setting, embedded into people. Think like Dorian Hawkmoon with his gem in his forehead. and bestowed upon the people and monsters and animals and rivers and various other things that got hit with this jade, an array of unusual gifts. So yes, jade storms are still raging in the setting, but that is how a jade makes a storm.
Ba-dum-bum.
When a mommy jade and a daddy jade love each other very much.
Very, very much.
I don't think the Malefic loved each other at all.
Want to say hi?
One Malefic
Hello.
unzips and
Stream
zips.
chat.
Yeah. It's this party trick he could do.
Pretty
The
cat.
whole Star Spangled Banner with a zipper.
Or the Bells of St. Mary.
Yeah.
Oof.
So I've only seen a couple questions up here, Dixie. So I don't know if we're running through the things, but
We're running through stuff. We're not getting a whole bunch of questions. People feel free to ask us questions, but we got
Eddy.
we can talk about.
Yes.
I don't mean to jump too far askew, but we do have a question about how's the Pugmire Mice book going?
I was going to talk a little bit about Pugmire anyway. So obviously we'll go into more detail
Yes,
in the Realms of Pugmire panel, which is
Bright and early
Sunday.
tomorrow morning.
Yes. Well, it's a perfectly fine time, my time.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
Right in the middle of
I know.
Eddie's day.
Hence why.
Right. Exactly. But yes, Lair of the Rat Kings. I have 98% of the book in. There's a couple of bits and bobs that I need to track down, but I am deep into pulling it together. And knock on wood, we should have a campaign out soon-ish. But basically, it is not only just the book for playing mice and rat characters, rodent characters, but it is also a comprehensive underground setting centered around not only the 3 Rat Kings and where they're at now compared to where we talked about them in first edition, but also the rise of the self-proclaimed Great Rat King, Dr. Brainstorm Masters, PhD, MD, QED. And so he is involved in interesting and potentially nefarious deeds that the player characters will have to uncover. So there's that. There's a lot of advice about running Pugmire games in underground campaigns and whatnot. So I'll talk more about that in the Pugmire panel. But yes, it is going along great. I'm as always very happy with what the team has put together. Luckily, I got a lot of people who are very familiar with Pugmire, and many of them are on this panel, except for Rich.
Yeah, but say 3 of
I would
us.
trust him to write if I give him a pencil. What do Oxford comma? Right? No, I'm not gonna do that.
Oh, don't bring up the Oxford commas.
Literally,
I'm
in
ahead of
our
you this
outline.
time. You thought you'd ambush me with that, but I'm on top of you now.
Oh,
Yeah.
hello.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I'll talk way more about it tomorrow at the Pugmire panel. But I had a lot of fun doing character creation again. Getting to iterate on my old work in 2E has been really fun. It's the first time I've ever personally gotten to do that. I know that everybody else, a lot of other folks here have done that before, like gone back to their old work, looked at it, changed it. This is my first time that I've worked on the second edition of something that I also worked on the first edition of. So that's been really cool. Adding in the new callings has been really cool. Kind of just, tweaking things for the new edition, making the 5 years later update that we've done in the setting. It's been super fun. And as always, I love all my little mice and rat babies, much like I loved all my little badger babies in the last one. And people keep enjoying these.
Yep, and I do want to say
Absolutely.
we will be doing a crowdfunder for that, and also to mention that we currently have a crowdfunder running for the Exalted Essence Storyteller's Guide, and please do check it out if you are interested in Essence or if you're interested in Exalted, because there is so much good stuff in there that it applies to third edition. If you are feeling like you can apply things to third edition.
Speaking of Exalted, actually, we are working on our next big character book, what we internally can call fat splats, and that is Exalted Liminals. That's going to be crowdfunding near the end of the year, in its semi-traditional spot at this point. again, we're going to have the Exalted panel later today at 6 p.m. Eastern. But this is, as I understand it, the first time ever that we've talked about liminals at this level of depth. They were not a big factor in previous editions, and they were briefly covered in Essence. This is the first time we're going into them in real depth. So it's going to be a very exciting book from that regard. We're breaking some new ground on that front. But the team will talk about liminals and all the other Exalted books at that panel.
Yeah, which is at 6 p.m. today.
Yep.
Go back to Pugmire real quick. We did have a fan ask if 2E is currently in the queue for printing, if it's being printed. No, that's what people have been waiting for Realms of Pugmire.
I think it's
So
I don't think it's up to the printer yet. I think it's very close.
no,
Okay.
so as we were talking about, we really do want to get that going, but there is a couple of the additional materials that go into fulfilling that we still have to work out. How
Okay.
do we do that in this? There's basically what we were talking about earlier in this panel.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, cool. That's what I thought. But I didn't want to answer it in the chat without just asking you because you know all these things. that I
No,
don't.
totally. And trust me, Bridge and I are both very frustrated that it's taking this long, but it is what it is, and we're just dealing with the hands we got.
Believe me, we all want to see our work in our hands too. Like I was looking at running a Realms of Pugmire game for my local game store, and I was like, well, I'm gonna have to just like print off everybody's character sheets and do it myself because I have access to stuff, but we can't, have it yet. So yeah. But yeah, I'm super excited about liminals. I played a liminal in an Exalted Essence game a while back, a like home game, and she was a really fun character.
Mhm.
And as always, I'm excited to see what the full book does with them because like I only know the Essence version. Where I had to define a lot of little things about them because I didn't have the whole detailed, setting information and like where they came from and all that stuff. It's said, but it's not expanded on. So I'm very much looking forward to reading chapters of that book. And yeah, I can't wait.
Indeed.
Right. Other lines.
Do we want to talk about Scion?
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
Yeah, well,
Scion,
nothing
pretty
really
big
happening
game
with
line,
it right
isn't it?
now.
obviously we've had the really great moment of introducing everybody to the Demiplane Nexus for Scion, which is for second edition. We have a couple more things that are going on with that edition. I'm sure we can talk a little bit about that in the Scion panel. I think we also have something else we want to talk about at the Scion panel, though.
Well, actually, real quick before you move on to the next big announcement, if you missed opening ceremonies, we're going to have another guest from Demiplane at the Scion panel later on today. So if you want to learn more about the Scion Nexus and what Demiplane are doing on it, we'll be able to talk directly to one of the people who are working with it. So that's also really exciting. We had one of the founders on last night, and it was really great and loved answering questions. So definitely, if you were excited about the Nexus or just curious about what Demiplane's all about, that panel should get some good answers to that too.
Yeah, and I think if you're wanting to know how can we communicate with Demiplane more about do more stuff or anything that you find on it, their forums, their communication methods are probably the best ones. But if you wanted to be ask a question or just let our Scion Demiplane Nexus representative know in the Scion panel that you would love to see Story Path Ultra, obviously Scion Second is Story Path. You'd like to see us move to the new rule system. Or you'd like to see something in Story Path also be done, or another Scion project be done. She's there to hear that. But I also think it is good to also put it out there on their social media that you're interested in stuff. And again, be polite, please.
Yes,
they are working.
They're very cool people.
They're nice people. They work very, very hard. They've got a lot of publishers who would like to be able to also have their own Nexus assistants.
And if I could interject one thing, one of the best ways to let them know that you're interested in it is to buy it and use it. Log time on it.
Well, again, you don't have to buy anything in order to use it, but if they're also getting a monetary reward for having put the thing up, that's also a really good thing for the company as a whole to see happening.
Yeah, that's what they look at and they go, oh, people are spending money on X or people are logging hours on Y. That shows them what to do.
Okay. Other announcements.
And I forgot what we were doing.
We were talking about Scion.
Matthew, what are we doing next? What's going on? We're going to talk about Scion. We want to explain that we are in the process we are working on Scion 3rd edition.
Yes.
We are not at the stage where we are going to be slapping a crowdfunder out there this year or anything like that. It will be at least sometime next year before we do anything that even presents the material to folks. But we will probably be, putting excerpt outs here and there, maybe some teasers, things like that to lead up to whenever we do some sort of crowdfunder.
Yes, we will ramp up to this one. It's going to be big.
Yep.
And you'll be able to hear the details about it, or at least some of the details about it that we know are working out at the Scion panel. We're not going to go into too much now because we want you to go there.
Which is the next panel. So if you just hang out.
Right, just hang out.
All right, just chill.
Yeah, you get to see Rich and I again. Along with some other lovely faces.
Yep. And people who have direct fingers in the typing of this stuff.
In the Scion Pie. In terms of other games, I think, is that everything we want to cover right now before we get onto Q&A?
If I could just drop two things real quick.
Please do.
I just want to remind everybody that we will be going into greater detail about the StoryPath Ultra license on the StoryPath Ultra panel later on today.
Today?
Very important.
Yes, later on today, yep.
Lots going on with that. We talked about it a little bit in the community content panel last night, but it is not community content. There's a separate license. So if you want to know about making your own games for StoryPath Ultra,
using StoryPath Ultra as your system.
Yes, exactly. Make sure you tune in for that panel. Also, I just wanted to remind everybody that there's a bunch of neat Scarred stuff going on, and I'm going to be talking about that on a panel tomorrow. So very cool things going on with the Scarred for Savage Worlds. And I revealed last night at the community content a little bit about how some of that's going to fold back into the 5e stuff, but make sure you don't miss that panel as well. Those are the two things I wanted to interject before we dive into Q&A.
And since we covered all the other game lines, let me just really quickly talk about Trinity, because that's the only one left. We did have a panel yesterday about this, but just to kind of recap, we're focusing on getting the other Trinity Aberrant books out, and also Steam Wars that was crowdfunded a year or two ago. And so we're going to kind of focus on those, make sure those are getting out there. So we don't have anything else to announce about Trinity Continuum at the moment, but it doesn't mean there's not going to be cool books coming out for Trinity in the near future. There will be.
Yep.
Likewise, with the They Came From game line, the RPG anthology is currently on its way to backers and to stores. It's just been printed. And we have Witchfoot Academy as the next big They Came From book, in the same vein as They Came From the Danger Zone and They Came From Camp Murder Lake. Not a full core book, doesn't have the story path chapter in, but otherwise it still has a massive number of archetypes, cinematics, quips. You can bolt it on to Cyclops' cave as intended, but it works, it functions with absolutely any other They Came From. If you only own They Came From Beyond the Grave and you want to do Witchfoot Academy with that, go for it. It works.
I can absolutely confirm that because I have just finished a short game that was ongoing for a few weeks of us doing They Came From Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And it was very, very silly. It was set in the 80s, so it was like John Hughes meets Buffy. We had a lot of fun with it, but also we were using all kinds of quip cards from all different games. Like we were using Cyclops' Cave quip cards in our game, and they worked, and we were using different archetypes, and it was really, really fun. Like we used so many tropes and things from different games, and just it all worked together really well. And that was super, super cool.
Yeah, they came from Dawkins Creek as calling me back.
If only enough people had voted
Why
for
didn't it win the
Vox
poll?
Populi. What can we do?
I voted for it.
Because it's all about Steel Dragon Tournament.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I mean, so we'll have a little bit more information. I'm just reading the chat thing here because we were just talking about Scion. We'll have more information about the Scion TV series and where that is at the Scion on the Scion panel. So coming up.
Yeah. I guess short answer to that is it's still a thing.
Yes.
Ongoing.
Yep. Yeah, so we had a couple of questions, and of course, if there's more questions coming out, please feel free to put them in the chat. Somebody did ask if we had any thoughts of coming out for PAX West because of Curse Born in Seattle. The only PAX I do is PAX Unplugged, typically. Yeah. Although I'd love to come back to Seattle just to visit because I love it. If I do, I'll let people know. Maybe we can say hi.
Yeah, I didn't even work on that book. I'll take any excuse to go to Seattle, though.
Yeah, I hear you. Seattle. Yep. Someone else asked if any of the Hungry families congregate in one particular part of Seattle, and I do believe the main neighborhoods they're in are Queen Anne and Fremont. But they're kind of all over.
There's a big clutch of heirs in Queen Anne. They all share the same horrible house. Whereas Magnolia, on the, I guess, counter side of that, has a firm imposition against heirs taking any territory whatsoever. So yeah, there's various segments of the city where certain families and of course then certain crews with it that either are all consisting of one family or multiple may have laid claim to a territory because there's a liminality there, or there may be a host of heirlooms that get spawned there or something like that. But yes, there are definitely Hungry specific parts of Seattle and a very powerful Hungry player in Seattle pulling a lot of strings.
Yeah. So yeah, well, there's a lot of detail in that book, especially in the Seattle chapter, the specific city chapter. So you can find all of that out when you get to read it, which hopefully won't be very long. We'll see. Someone did just want to clarify if the Liminals book was a full crowd-funded book,
like the others.
So, yeah, I mean, basically, it would be a campaign on par as we've done with similar books of a similar size. Every crowdfunding campaign, we take a look at it, and we always are thinking about, do we need to adjust things and modify things? So, like, I'm not going to say it's identical to the past ones done before, but so far, it's probably going to be on par with those. So it's not like it's going to be a radically different style of campaign.
And I think maybe just to even get down to brass tacks, we're talking hardcover, because for a long time there was rumors that it wouldn't be, and also there'll be a deluxe version with the campaign.
Right. I didn't want to state that for definitive.
Unless something changes in the world, which nothing we can do about.
Right. See previous 15 minutes of this, podcast.
Exactly.
But
yeah, I mean, I think that also comes from like back, God, when I took over Exalted almost a decade ago now. Like part of that's from back then when it was like, oh, we're gonna do it this way, but
maybe do this, maybe do that.
Yeah. Like there was talk about doing it as a soft cover, smaller thing, but it deserves its own thing. I think, so for the most part, that's what we
sure. Yeah, I mean, I won't go into specifics, but internally we had some discussions about like, do we need to shake it up? Do we need to try some different ways of presenting this? And those conversations have been going on from Dixie's tenure through Daniel's tenure into my tenure, because we wanted to, make the book lesser. It was more, always thinking, would this work? How would this play? Does this make the most sense? And ultimately it came down to, we talked to the team who were doing Liminals, and they said, we think we need this as a full book. And we agreed that was probably the best way to go. So that's what we're doing.
Yep. So yeah, I'm excited.
That's it. It's all up with Onyx Path. There's nothing left. We're done.
The only other question that we have
just
right
reached
now.
the end.
Somebody said that they made a forum post on Demiplane about checking out Curseborn for Demiplane Nexus. Is there a more effective means of conveying interest? I do know that they have a Discord, which is at Demiplane RPG.
Yeah. getting onto the Discord and chatting about it, engage other people about it, talk about Curseborn, talk it up. I'm not suggesting you need to become a marketing guru or anything like that, but ultimately,
if you like it, tell them why.
Yeah, the best way to get other people into games, whether you're talking about a company or an individual, is to talk about why you like it. Spread your enthusiasm, and that extends to ratings and reviews, as well as chatter on Discords and forums. It's something I belabor, but if you've bought one of our books, and I'm sure you bought at least one on Drive-Thru RPG, it will take you less than a minute to head on over there, give it a star rating, hopefully more than one. If you only have one, don't bother. And, a few lines of a review. You have no idea how much that can influence someone else picking up a copy of a game. Someone is looking for a game. If they go there, they see there's no star reviews, no reviews. They're thinking, do I want to spend my money on this? It's the unknown. If they see X number of 5-star reviews and they scroll down and they see a review that says, this game changed my life and made me a better person, they might think, well, okay, I'll pick up They Came From Beneath the Sea.
Yeah.
Because that's what I wrote.
If I can piggyback on that a little bit too,
No, Travis.
I can't stress enough how important it is to go to places like Reddit and talk about how much you enjoy a game. I can't stress how important it is enough for you to pick up your phone. If you have a TikTok, make a TikTok where you're talking about your experience with the game. I can do that, but I am just now completing my 47th circle around the sun, and I am a very pasty gentleman. So there's a lot of folk that fit this dynamic that are already talking about games. So if you're not fitting that dynamic, but you're enjoying our games, talking about those in public spaces, social media spaces is huge. Because we're making those games with the best intention to welcome as many people to the table as possible, and getting as many people to get that message is vital. So if you want to support the games, those are the best ways I can think of to do so.
I'm on Reddit, and there's a post every 3 hours on /RPG that's like, what are some games people should try? Okay.
Right.
Also, there's so many forums people talk about games. Reddit's just one of them. But in any of those, there's always a thread that's like, what's your favorite top 5 games? What are your favorite games from indie publishers? What are your favorite not D&D games? And I would love it if people, answered those with our stuff as often as they, want to. But makes me happy.
Plus, as we had said earlier, our next panel is the Scion panel, and we're going to have the person who's one of the people who's actually worked on the Demiplane Nexus project from Demiplane is going to be on that panel, and it's a great time to throw ideas, and questions, and thoughts. And I can't wait till you guys do Curseborn or They Came From Beneath the Sea or whatever you would like to see have more online tools. Those are the people, and then there's their various social medias that they have that is also really, really valuable because that's where the people from that company are keeping an eye on things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm in a ton of game tool related discords just because it's often the founders are in there because these aren't huge companies for the most part. You can just go in and be like, hey, what's up? Please tell me how this works.
It's worth also saying that in terms of places like Reddit, communities tend to look fairly poorly on the developers of these games going out there and self-promoting. And I'm not complaining about that. I completely understand why they have those restrictions. Otherwise, they just be filled with ads. But that does mean it is kind of up to the fans, the customers, the readers, the people who buy these games. If they want more of them, they need to be the ones starting the threads. And that might mean you, the viewer, needs to do it because you might think, why is Onyx Path not constantly on /RPG talking about their games? We can't go on /RPG and talk about games. We can go on /the Onyx Path or Onyx Path RPG, but you can, and we'd love it if you did.
And to push that even one step further, even in places where we can do that, it looks way more, it looks self-serving because it is self-serving, right?
It looks like we are, we have a marketing team and the marketing team has come out here and they're doing stuff, which tell you the truth, folks, we don't have a marketing team.
No, we do not. Yeah,
We're the marketing team.
right. We market while we're also making books. But yeah,
And a lot of us, like me, don't like using social media all that much, so I'm not even very good at it.
right. And,
Yeah, same.
and despite the fact that like we love our own work, it still comes off like, the company talking about it. I no matter how genuine I can be in a TikTok video where I'm talking about how much I love Curseborn, somebody's going to go, well, he works at Onyx Path. Of course he does. You know what I mean? Whereas if you hop on, it's a totally different.
Yeah, we all know. We've all seen that, the endorsements and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's better when it's somebody that you can relate to.
All right, we have 10 minutes left, everybody. So if you have any questions for us whatsoever before the Scion panel in about 40 minutes, now is the time to ask, because is this the last panel where it's all of us in the same place?
I think,
We also have the AMA.
I just think we're all on that
Well,
one.
but I'm not on the
Yeah, and
Rich,
just you three.
I'm sorry. I thought you asked about the important people. My apologies.
Oh, you're right. You are.
Yes.
Rich is the
Glad you appreciate this.
keystone. Without it, our bridge of lies will collapse.
But yeah, so
Don't make me get the silver bell out.
we do have the AMA tomorrow,
Won't
but
hear anyway.
it's definitely functioning more like a podcast live. We just don't have
Right.
a regular podcast anymore.
Let's find some bollocks
Right.
to talk
So
about.
AMA is going to understand if you don't come with questions, we're just going to talk about bullshit for an hour.
Yeah, if
Neil
David
Breen
Lynch,
movies.
apparently.
Neil
Neil
Breen
Breen
movies.
meets David Lynch. Neil Breen wishes he
Oh,
was
God.
David Lynch.
if it helps bring you to the panel, pretend it's a live Pathcast. We can rebrand it right now. I'll slap
There
we go.
Pathcast over the top of it.
Slap that sucker up on YouTube, and you're good to go.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just
Done.
spend the entire hour talking about the Curse of Strahd game I was just in. Like, it's fine.
There you go.
Well,
Sweet.
ideally not.
Do you have any of the farty horns, Matthew? Do you still have that?
Oh no, I don't have the farty horn sound effects. I mean, I could download them in time for tomorrow.
I mean, I can just play it on YouTube and put it right here,
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
Resident Evil Director's Cut basement music done. I know.
Apparently,
Samuragotchi.
I was reading the other day that apparently they were talking about the remake they're doing for it, and one of the first things they kept was the Farty Horns music, and I'm like, of all the things
Really?
you're not going to remaster,
Excellent.
is that
It's that because we're fans of Matthew Dawkins. We've decided
Yes.
to keep it.
clearly.
Farty Horn Samuragotchi is credited on almost every They Came From poster. There you go. There's a piece of deep lore that we've never
Little bit
revealed
of
before. That probably no one ever.
little Easter egg there.
Yes, it's not his full name. Obviously, we don't want to miscredit the talented musician. He is just down there as Farty Horn Samuragotchi.
Mr. Roboto.
Yes, indeed. So yes, on
That's
our
what
Steel
Matthew got
Dragon
too.
fighting tournament poster, the person who did that
Oh,
soundtrack
yes.
was Samuragotchi.
Nice.
Yes.
And
Amazing.
I don't know if any of you saw on the, well, Travis probably did on the They Came From panel earlier. Chris Jones, one of our frequent freelancers, a very talented guy, has a big old poster of the They Came From the Mean Streets poster,
Really?
the Larry art behind him, yeah.
You just had it made.
In his study, yeah.
That's awesome.
It looks very nice indeed. I wish I had the wall space.
Nice inspirational media there to have.
Yeah.
Well,
I
it's,
do actually have wall space.
it's
Maybe.
Larry Blemeyer's art. It's amazing.
Anyway, there's apparently a question for me.
There's a question for
Say,
Eddie.
Eddie.
Which is how's the gaming culture different in London than in the States?
Don't ask Matthew, the British person on the panel. How
To
the
be fair,
gaming culture
Matthew
is
also is not in
different
London, so Matthew actually
I
can't
know.
answer that question.
I certainly wouldn't travel to London to game because Eddie's there.
God no.
Ew.
No. So
We run into each
what-
other at the tea shop.
right.
How awkward! My monocle
Many
might
people
pop
don't
out.
have a lot of the space to game in, so like gaming in people's houses is much less prevalent here. So a lot of times we try to meet in pubs, but they get really loud, and also I don't want to pay 10 quid for a pint. So
Also, like if you're playing for 4 hours, I always feel bad taking up a space at a place that like isn't a gaming space for that long of time.
they honestly, if a pub is like, hey, just keep buying pints and you're fine, they don't care.
But if you're drunk, I don't want to be drunk playing. You're playing
or
games.
other drinks. I mean, there's actually
Okay.
side note, but one of the things that's interesting is that because Gen Z people in London are drinking far less alcohol, so a lot
Same
of
here.
pubs are pivoting to offer non-alcoholic alternatives to increase their repertoire as well. But also there are a lot of gaming cafes as well, board game cafes, and also. My experience is that there's a lot less paying for tickets for games ahead of time at conventions. You tend to kind of just show up and sign up for games, especially for smaller conventions.
Yeah.
I've seen some of them move, like UK Games Expo, moving more towards pre-buying tickets, but also because it's a massive show. Whereas for Dragon Meet in particular, that you just kind of show up and sign your name on a piece of paper and then you show up to the game. Yeah, there's a lot of little things, but I mean, honestly, also the core of how you play games, it's identical. So I mean, like it's not that different.
I'm going to answer a really simple question from the chat, which is that someone just asked, "How's Neil?" He's fine. He's out of the pool right now. I'm going to join him after we're done.
He's slathered with suntan lotion.
Yeah, I've got my pool pass right here, which is blue, so it doesn't really show up on the screen very well. But
Yes.
yeah, they're having our big apartment pool party today, so I'm going to go
Sure.
eat some free food after this.
Fantastic.
I love free food.
Excellent.
We've had a few more questions about us in general. This is actually an interesting one, which is that do y'all have a max number of projects you can handle, and have you ever hit it?
I think every single one of us has hit it individually,
Yeah.
which is actually how we function. It's far more of a working studio than a corporation, and so we don't have a corporate flow chart that shows, oh wait, we can't make this work. It is based on individuals and what they're capable of. So
Yeah.
I will tell you, and I asked Mirthful Mike Cheney if it was okay if I said a little something about this, just because some people are wondering. And one of the things that happens is that we all have had various physical ailments or doctor's appointments and mental ailments as well.
Yep.
Things that we had to deal with over the last 15 years, and Mirthful Mike has come from and is recovered from a serious medical issue that occurred about 2 years ago, year and a half ago, and is recovered from that, is moving forward from that, doing very, very well. But okay, Mirthful Mike can't handle all the stuff that was on his plate, and that's when Ron Thompson stepped in and started doing more layout.
God, I hate that guy.
Yeah.
He's obnoxious.
Really,
if he wasn't really fast with the layout, I would ditch him in a second.
never hired that guy again.
Yeah, I personally find that if I have more than 6 or 7 editing things in the queue, I'm more liable to forget that one of them is there. Which, I mean, it doesn't happen often, but I know that a few months ago, Matthew was like, "Oh, this thing was due yesterday. What happened to it?" And I was like, "I forgot it existed. I will have it to you in 2 days." And I did. It was fine. But it was just one of those things where it's like, I live by a series of Post-it notes, and if one falls off or I miss something, it's gone. Eddy manages our internal software that we use to track all the projects. And generally, a thing I do on Sunday evening is go in and look at all the editing stuff, and make sure that I know where I'm at, and make sure I'm ready for the weeks ahead. And sometimes that means that I look at it on Sunday night and I go, "Oh shit," and then let them know, like, give me a day or two, you know?
And we have various meetings to track where things are. Every Monday, we have the full reports on where things are from the various people responsible for them. You get to see a bunch of that in the Monday Meeting Notes blog that I put out every Monday evening. And it has, that gives you an idea where we are and where things are going. I would keep a really close eye on at least this group here and our closer freelancers on, burnout. Are we giving any individual too much to do? And so kind of organically trying to keep an eye on that, so that there really isn't a pat answer from HR about, hey, this is you can only do this much.
Yeah.
Because we all have flexible schedules. We're all virtual. We don't come into the office at 9 o'clock and leave at 5. We work. Some of us work better in the evenings. I'll work till midnight, 1 o'clock on stuff. Whereas some of y'all, and of course the time difference as well with our 2 UK folk. So
Yeah. We're in our last minute or so here, so a couple of very quick questions. Someone asked how Curseborn's been doing. There was a panel on it earlier. There's a panel on it tomorrow, and we'll talk about it more at those. But it's been going great overall, I think.
it's fantastic. It has been amazingly wonderful to see the response to Curseborn. There's no way to say how much elation we have and how much that has propelled us forward in terms of just people's response to this thing we worked on for a long time in secret and very hard.
Where do we see a concentration or focus on the primal lineage, the nest, Matthew?
What, in general or in Seattle?
It doesn't say.
I mean, they are profiled in the player's guide. That's where you'll get the most information on them. If you want to know more broadly where they would fit in a city, I would say anywhere where they can nibble through the wires and see the whole thing come crashing down, especially if the people on top are abusive billionaire bastards. But in Seattle, I don't think the Nest receive a massive profile like the Napoleons. Certainly one Napoleon gets a big spotlight in Seattle. City of Curses. I know that some Nest
Napoleons, Matthew.
Well, who would know? But the Nest. Who wrote the Nest, Eddie? I mean, it's a debate for the ages. But I know there are some Nest in Fremont, but I don't think it's not the city where the Nest are at the most prominent.
Yeah. There's only 2 mentions of them in chapter 2 from what I can see. So
there you go.
Not a huge amount in Seattle. One last question for Matthew. Have you ever combined content from multiple SPU properties at the same time, like putting adversaries from Monster Kingdoms in the world below or vice versa?
Absolutely. That's the main reason I make these books, so that I have huge bestiaries that I can use to cross over. I've even used adversaries from Curseborn in games of the world below just to mix things up. The thing is, all of the SPU games, the core system is so versatile. You can theoretically use antagonists from Steam Wars, Curseborn. They came from the RPG anthology, The World Below, At the Gates, Monster Kingdoms, and later Jade Storm, and mix them all up. And I do it a lot because when I look at the bestiaries for these books, mechanically, they all function more or less the same. Sometimes there might be an ability that I don't want to use because it refers to cursed dice or something like that, but otherwise, I could just make them amp up the chaos in the local area. So yes, I always do that.
Cool. Anybody have anything else they want to say before we end this panel?
Nope.
Just thanks again to everybody who's tuning in, who's watching this now, who's watching it a week from now, 2 weeks from now on YouTube. We, again, could not be doing this for 15 years without all of you.
At 1:30, we have the Scion panel. We got to get a lot more information there. We have panels going up through the evening and then most of the day tomorrow. So please watch some games, watch some panels, hang out. Thank you all for being here. And we're doing this again next year, I assume.
Every year we're surprised we're doing it again.
Have a good one, y'all.
See you later, everybody.
Bye.